Coming to you from all the way down under. And no, I do not mean their parents' basements. This is a wrestling podcast for the fans, by the fans. We welcome you to Book It With The Boys. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is the moment you've all been waiting for. We are finally here. We are at the pilot episode of Book It With The Boys. I am your co-host, Daniel Fennell, sitting alongside my great mate and other co-host, Jason Cook. Jace, how are you, mate? We're finally here.
Ernie, we are. Mate, I'm excited.
I'm excited too, mate.
That's all I can say. I'm excited.
Oh, you're almost lost for words, mate. It's hard to stop you from talking, so we must be off to a good start, eh?
Absolutely.
Brilliant, mate. Now we've been teasing this for a while now, so do you want to let the fans finally know? They obviously know we're going to be talking about wrestling. What are we going to be discussing on the podcast?
You know, we had to think about it, and, you know, we're not going to be your normal podcast. We're not going to be your normal, you know, news update site. We're not the Wrestling Observer. You know, we're not your general podcast. We're going to be different.
That's it.
And,
I like it.
And we are. And we're going to be different. So, you know, there might be some review shows of, you know, our favourite pay-per-views.
Oh, WrestleMania 17. I hope we talk about that one.
It's WrestleMania season, so why not?
That's it.
You know, it could be some rumour bills, just talking about the scene at the moment. You know, AEW's kicking off.
Oh, we're all excited for that, mate. Double or nothing coming up.
WrestleMania. We've got it's a hot Aussie scene at the moment as well. So, mate, there's plenty to talk about. There's plenty to get into.
No, I like it, mate. I don't think you've led on to everything we'll be talking about as well. We're going to keep a few surprises in store for our loyal listeners. That's just a little taste of what's to come. So, no, it's good to finally be here, mate. And the one thing that you were talking about and alluding to is we are just two big fans, aren't we? And that's what we want to talk to. We don't want to act like we know everything because we don't. We just want to talk about it as fans for the fans. So, what do you reckon, mate? Should we get started?
Let's do it.
All right, mate. Let's get started. Everyone, like I said, welcome to the first episode of Book It With The Boys. So, let's get into it and book it. All right, mate, let's get this thing kick-started, eh? It's time for Talking Shop. So, let's talk about what's going on in the wrestling world at the moment. It's WrestleMania season, as you said, and it's been a pretty big week in wrestling. It's been a pretty big month in wrestling. I mean, I'm just going to get us started here, if you don't mind, mate. The biggest and hottest angle in the world right now. I don't care if you tell me that New Japan's hotter, if AEW's hotter. If you tell me that Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte isn't the hottest thing going around in wrestling at the moment, then you clearly aren't watching what's going on in that show.
Well, and you know what? 2 months ago, you would never have said that.
No,
I wouldn't have said that. No one wouldn't have pictured this, and somehow they've done it. The crowd's chanting for the triple threat.
Oh, it's crazy, isn't it? And you know what, mate, I'll get your opinion on this, but I absolutely love the idea of a triple threat. Everyone wanted the singles match, but the thing that you don't understand is this has gotten genuine heat. Charlotte has gotten people mad, and I don't understand why people on Twitter, people on the internet are complaining about it. It's what it's designed to do. They are trying to get you angry, and it is working. And I love it personally because I'm angry as well. I was angry, and it proves to me that it's working.
Well, to be fair, the way they set it up with Becky, the storyline on Raw, where she was, what was it? She was...
Oh, the one where she was suspended.
She was suspended, and she came back, and then she had to apologise, and it was just made her look fucking like a nerd.
Oh, it wasn't great. No, it didn't. It didn't put her in a good spot. But
and
the one thing, it's not. But the one thing that we need to realise is that it's making people angry, and that's what it's designed to do. Because I'm telling you what, right now, when Becky stands up there in front of 75,000, and I'm not sure if she's going to do it, but I'm praying that she gets Ronda in an armbar and just takes her straight down.
Has to.
And makes her tap out 1, 2, 3. And I mean, you probably would have heard them. They talk about it on the Observer radio show, and everyone talks about it on Twitter. They don't want to see Ronda tap out. But mate, this is WWE. This is wrestling.
I think there's no other way. Ronda has to tap. Has to tap, especially after Monday or Tuesday.
She beat the living shit out of her, didn't she? Dear Lord, oh my Lord! And that was, you know what? It might. People say, oh, it makes Becky look bad. No, it doesn't. This woman was one of the greatest, and is, if not the greatest, UFC champion from the women's division of all time.
It's what she has to do.
She should be beating the shit out of Ronda.
Absolutely.
I mean, Becky, sorry. Oh, absolutely. But the one thing I just want to say is, and I don't know if you agree with this, but this is WWE. Fans know that this isn't real. We are past the point where we think that this is not real. We understand that it's scripted, but the thing that I love most in viewing it as a fan is that they're making us try and believe again. And I like to see that because a lot of the time, to be honest, Raw can be pretty average, and a lot of the stuff I don't like. So I don't know, mate. What do you reckon? Do you think that is it making you believe again? Do you think that Becky could come out on top, and will she tap her out?
Look, yes, to a degree. I still, I don't know. I'm still up in the air. I'd still like to see a singles match, but I think Charlotte is that good that she's kind of made me want to see her get beat.
Well, let me put it this way, right? Like, I have been sucked in big time, and I am hating Charlotte at the moment. I know.
I'm still not.
I know, but I reckon she's going to get you. And just watching her leave the ring on Monday Night Raw, walking away like the little cheeky heel she is, just makes me think, I cannot wait to see Becky and Ronda take you down. But the one thing that we're missing is that with the triple threat match, this wrestling match that was already the hottest angle in the world is going to be a good match. It will. Charlotte's one of the best to do it at the moment. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I do. It's gonna be good. I think it'll main event as well.
Yeah, I hope it does as well.
I think it will. It has to, I think.
It has to. And you know what? If you had told me 5 years ago that a women's wrestling match is going to main event WrestleMania, I wouldn't have said that it shouldn't happen. Of course not. But I would have said it wouldn't because I just didn't think Vince would allow it to happen. But the times have changed and look at it. Yeah. I don't really, to be honest, there's not a lot else on the Mania card at the moment I'm vested in. I mean, run us through some of the other matches that you think are going to happen.
Well, we obviously know now that Triple H and Batista...
Oh, of course, yeah, that's going to be hot. How good's Batista?
Good.
Dear Lord, is he good.
Real
oh,
good.
My God. Imagine this. 5 years ago, or whatever it was, when Daniel Bryan's wrestling for the WWE title with Batista in the ring with Randy Orton, the fans hated him. Good old Blue Tista. Didn't they hate him? And now he's come back, and those last 2 appearances on Raw, my Lord, has he been good.
Even the promo on his phone.
Oh,
that was great.
Taking the absolute piss. For you American fans listening out there, if you haven't heard Taking the Piss, he's just basically running amok and doing whatever he wants and making us all look silly. That's what it means. So he's hashtag taking the piss.
What did you think? What did you think of the angle?
Oh, listen, I actually I love the way they introduced it. I mean, it does make a lot of sense. If you look back on SmackDown when they had the Evolution reunion, you know, Batista obviously brought up the fact that Triple H couldn't beat him, and it's the one person he's never been able to beat. And I mean, the way that they shot that everything in Raw and everything on SmackDown and WWE apart from NXT is so overproduced these days. But to see him grab a cameraman by the throat, take him in, and the fact that he beat up a 70-year-old legend on his fucking birthday just proves how brutal he is on his birthday. They're standing out there. They've paid Sting $1 million to come walk down to the ring.
Well, that's the thing. The crowd didn't even get to see him. That was just it.
It's a bit unlucky for the crowd. But
stiff.
But very stiff, very stiff. Hashtag stiff. But, I mean, come on. How good was it? I loved it. It was good. Batista's, the one thing that we're forgetting is this man is a global movie star. He's in one of the biggest franchises going around. He's a good actor.
And he's 50.
He's old. He's old. And I mean, as much as everyone might dislike Triple H as a wrestler and continuing to wrestle now, that man deserves his props. He has just not stopped, has he?
No. He's good. His promo was good too. I think, it'll be good.
Controversial, but bit controversial. Bringing up, unfortunately, I don't really want to talk about it, but Flair's son, we all know what happened there, and I mean, maybe that's a sign of the times changing. Maybe they're going to push the boundaries. I know Hunter's got a bit more.
Well, they did it. They did it like 2 weeks after he actually died.
I know, and just proves they don't give a shit about anything, really, do they?
It's full on.
But yeah, so I mean that match is going to be good, and I mean I honestly think that Batista, he's going to try and be the hottest heel going around, but he's going to. I reckon he may get cheered just because everyone seems to be cheering heels these days, which is a bit disappointing. But I mean, I'm looking forward to that match. What about, I guess the next one we're going to talk about is, and we'll mix it up here, going from Raw to SmackDown, the WWE title match. One of my most favourite things going on in the whole wrestling world right now is the new Daniel Bryan.
Belt.
Oh my Lord, that belt is, if that's not enough, I mean, as funny as it is, but that makes me just feel absolutely sick seeing him walk around with that. Seriously, Jace, he's fucking bought that from Target. He's gone down to Target and bought a 20. Oh mate, he's gone down to Target. It looks like he's bought a $25 Velcro belt. I'm not a big fan.
I'm into it.
I know you are, and that's where we differ, and that's why we're here, mate. We're here to discuss the big issues.
What do you reckon? Triple threat? It's gonna be triple threat. It's gonna be Kofi.
I think Kofi's got to be in it now, doesn't it?
Well, it has to. He has to be in it.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. I can see a triple threat with Owens.
See, here's the thing. I can see that as well. But I mean, I'm just gonna take a stand here. I hate the fact that Kevin Owens is a babyface. Absolutely hate it.
Well, I don't know.
And again, please give me your opinion.
I don't actually think he is.
Well, he it's weird, isn't it? It's just it's kind of strange. I mean, he is one of the best heels that I've seen for a long time. And he always has been in Ring of Honor and PWG and on the Indies. He was always a great heel. But it's just weird the way they book him. And I guess that's why we're here to book it with the boys. I would not be booking him like this, would you?
Well, no. I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have brought him back like that. But
I mean, what's he doing at a fucking bowling alley eating popcorn with his son?
Yeah, that was weird.
Very weird.
I reckon that was kind of... Well, I don't know. I've heard that was the plan for a while, was Brian Owens at Mania. But they brought him... I think he's obviously a heel. I can't see him as a baby. That was a heel spot that he went in. That's why I think it's going to be a triple threat. I can't see it.
It's just I guess from my perspective, the reason I find it so weird is just you've got this bloke, Daniel Bryan, who is an unbelievable character, and we all know he's one of the greatest to ever do it. Look at the way he's come back. He's got this persona. He was the biggest babyface in WWE for the past 15 years, without a doubt. I mean, you go back and watch WrestleMania, when he stood on that announce table, held that belt in the air, there was 75,000 people going off their absolute nutter. Crazy. Right? And now look at him. He is the best heel one of the best heels in the company, if not the best.
Yeah.
So it's weird seeing Owens go up against him. I mean, Kofi's going to have to slot back in, isn't he? Surely. Has to.
That's like obvious. I think it was... how shit would you feel if you're Mustafa Ali?
All right,
Seriously?
everyone, I want you to go on Twitter and tag Mustafa Ali in a tweet and hashtag stiff, because he is the stiffest bloke going around in the wrestling world right now. We all know that's his spot. That's where he would have been. You know, look how good he was going before that injury, and now Kofi's just slipped in. And to be honest, imagine this: the reaction for Mustafa would have been the exact same. He had to go on an hour on SmackDown, pinned the champion. I mean, he's hashtag stiff. That's all I can say to that. But I mean, I just want to say one thing before we move on to another match and maybe another topic: the stunner. It's back.
It's in.
The Stone Cold Stunner. He's just absolutely stunned the living daylights out of Daniel Bryan on SmackDown for a second week running. I think it's back. I love it. I think it's good.
You love it?
I do. Oh, listen, it's hard because really only one person should ever be doing it. I know. And this is where we disagree on things, but if there's anyone in that company that I can see using the stunner, it's Owens. I mean, for goodness sake, Cena was jumping off the second rope, stunning people.
Springboard stunner.
Yeah. Goodness me.
No good at that.
All right, well, let's move on from that match. There's 3 there. We won't go harp on about WrestleMania too much because we're going to obviously talk about this over the coming weeks and the coming months. But the one I'm going to, and it's kind of a transition into something else, Undertaker. One of our personal favourites all time. You've seen him when you were a young boy walking down the ramp. In fact, we'll post a photo on Twitter of this. We were actually almost front row for Taker in Melbourne, weren't we?
Well, we were.
Is that I think that's one of his second last match in WWE, or was his last? Was Dubai? Was that Saudi Arabia after that or before?
No.
I think it might.
That was after.
No, it was after. That's right. Yeah. So
So
obviously his second is his last singles match. Last singles match that he's wrestled for WWE. We were there. We snuck through. Had a couple of beers. Then we had some frothies, as the Aussies like to call. Had a couple, snuck past the security guard at front row, and But yeah. So on the Taker issue, so is he going to wrestle at Mania? I don't think he will. Surely not.
No. Can't say it.
Can't see it.
No way.
Not even for Saudi Arabia money.
Maybe Saudi Arabia money.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of it. They've got 2 shows coming up. I think
money going straight to Michelle.
Yeah,
straight into her pocket.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I don't think he will wrestle.
No, I don't think he's wrestling at Mania. But yeah, I could see him wrestling at that show. I could see anyone wrestling at that show.
The thing is, and obviously, I mean, this is what we want to talk about. Is you know, Starcast 2. The man is on show. The first appearance in America for everybody. Obviously, that's rubbed Vince the wrong way. And I mean, all you little online fans out there thinking that he's going to show up at Double or Nothing, just the dong's going to go off. I'd love to see that. Nothing more than imagine. Oh my lord, it'd be like Punk turning up.
I'm still waiting for Punk to turn up. I've still got hope.
He's got to rock up.
I've still got hope that he's coming back.
One day that man's going to come back and save the world, isn't he? No. Listen, I think that Taker's not going to wrestle as well. I agree. But if I was Taker, I wouldn't be wrestling either. $25,000 for a day of signing autographs.
A day, an hour.
An hour?
That's an hour.
Dear Lord, he's not an hour.
25k an hour. Yes, it is.
God,
100%.
I'm gonna have to check the facts.
Look it up. That is 25k an hour.
It can't be 25k an hour. That's a lot of money, mate. Well, if you were getting paid 25k an hour,
25k an hour. That's seriously what
the things I would do for 25k an hour would be ridiculous.
Did you see I saw on YouTube there was an hour interview with him and Who was it? Hold on. It was an hour interview. He's done one of these before.
Yeah.
Have you seen? It was
No,
like
I've seen it pop up on YouTube. I'm a busy man, mate. Some of us actually have to work for a living. You
I
know?
haven't watched it yet.
I know, mate. I know you're a busy man. No, listen. So I can confirm that I've just found it online that yes, Undertaker 25k an hour. That's ridiculous, mate. I know Conrad's pockets are big because there's some big pants, but dear Lord, they must be pretty deep to be getting him for 25k an hour, eh?
He'd be bankrupt.
Crazy.
Like, seriously, that's like Fry Festival money.
Oh, we're not going to get into Fire Festival. Anyway, so Undertaker, 25k an hour. I mean, I would love to go there, mate. Unfortunately, being down under, we're not going to be there. So if any of our loyal fans out there are listening and you're attending Double or Nothing, send us a tweet or send us a message on Facebook at BIWTB. Podcast on Twitter and on Instagram. Hit us up. Make sure you give us a follow.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, just talking shop. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, mate? What's going on? Let's talk about AEW for a second, okay? AEW, obviously we all know it's going to be a massive thing come May when Double or Nothing goes, and then obviously Fight for the Fallen. It's going to be huge. It's not going to be big, but the one thing that me and you talk about all the time off air, TV deal. What's going to happen, mate? What is going on here? Come on. What's your thoughts? Are they going back? Is Turner going to have another wrestling show on?
Well, it's an option. For sure, it has to be an option. I don't know. It has to be something big. It can't be your run-of-the-mill...
Well, Dave Meltzer already said that it's going to be bigger than the TNA deal on Spike. Yep. It's going to be much bigger.
What can that be? What's that? NBC's SmackDown, isn't it?
No,
so
Fox. Fox. They're going to Fox 1 in October.
Yeah.
And I was looking today, they're averaging 2.6 at the moment. So Fox is one of the biggest stations. It's not going to be as big as Fox. But the thing is, with Raw being on USA and SmackDown being on Fox, I mean... SmackDown's going to take over as the number one show. It'll never be Vince's baby's always Raw, but I mean, if Raw continues to be the way it's booked at the moment, and AEW if they can get a deal, sell out a couple of shows, we could have a little challenger on our hands here. It's going to take a while. But when I say a challenger, I mean a clear cut second.
Yeah, definitely.
I
think it already is.
Yeah, definitely. It's very funny and crazy to talk about. We're sitting here talking about a company that hasn't even ran an official show yet, and they're already a clear-cut second.
True.
We were talking about Conrad having big pockets. Holy fuck, Tony Khan, his pockets, dear Lord.
Amazing. It's
unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? NBC, ABC, ESPN?
It's really hard to tell. I could see. I don't think ESPN straight away, but I think that going forward, it could be an option because obviously they're a competitor to Fox Sports. We all know about ESPN streaming service now. That's the big one that I'm thinking. ESPN Plus. ESPN Plus.
That's not big enough, I don't think.
You don't reckon?
No.
You reckon they need to go bigger?
For sure.
Yeah, true.
Definitely. You've got Jericho, you've got...
break the walls down.
Break the walls down.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so while we're on the topic of AEW, let's have a quick run through. Let's talk some Being the Elite, and we'll talk some Double or Nothing matches. So, first of all, have you seen Being the Elite from this week?
I have.
It's getting better, isn't it? It's getting better and better every week. The episodes they're obviously a little bit different now, but I'm actually really enjoying it. No Flip. Yeah. So Flip can fuck off. I've never been. Flip can fuck off. He's a bit of a little bitch, isn't he? To be honest, no, I'm not.
Flip.
I know you like Flip. This is why we're here to talk about this stuff, mate. Listen, I'm not a big fan of Flip. I love Marty. He's my favourite. What do you reckon?
In Australia at the moment.
I know he is.
In Adelaide.
We're going to say we should pop over and say good day. Maybe that's something for down the line, eh? World Series of Wrestling.
Yeah.
If you're out there at the moment and you haven't got your tickets, make sure you hit up World Series of Wrestling. They've got some awesome cards going on at the moment. Robbie Eagles is their champion.
Is he?
He is there. Yep, you should know these things, mate. Come on, do your
Bullet
research.
Club.
Bullet Club.
For life.
There we go. We're already on the same page. Back to Marty. He's my favourite. I know he's one of your favourites at the moment. He's obviously a massive loss being the Elite at the moment.
Yeah.
He's coming back.
He is.
While we're talking about Marty, let's just go. Is he signing with AEW once his deal's up?
For sure.
May. Has to.
May, isn't it?
It is May. I think it's after. It is after Double or Nothing, I believe. So maybe Fight for the Fallen. He will be there. He will be signed with AEW. Lock it in here. Scoop, book it with the boys. We've got the information. No, we don't. But obviously, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, for sure.
But what about, here's my thing, and I actually posted on the Squared Circle Reddit thread. Got roasted a bit. I put it out there, and again, go and have a look and find it. I put it out there that MJF is going to be a huge star. Huge star for AEW.
Sure.
I think people need to get past the fact with his wrestling ability might not be the best. But this bloke is 20. How old is he?
20,
20, 21, 22.
He's young.
He's young.
Very young.
But how good is he talk? And he's been, I love him on being elite.
Awesome heel.
It's, again,
22.
it's cheap humour, cheap heat, but it's funny. And it's what we've always
Hilarious.
loved.
He's awesome. I love him. I love everything.
Salt of the earth.
Oh, mate, he's great. He's great. He's going to be good. He's he'll get heaps of exposure. Yeah. They love him. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
he's good.
no, completely
Big
agree.
question, though.
Yep, hit me
Big
up.
question.
Come on. Is it time for the big question of the podcast? Is this our first big question?
This could be our
This could be our first big question. I like this. Hashtag big question. Here we go. What's the first big question, mate?
Who's Cody's opponent for Double or Nothing? There's been teasers on BT.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
It's hard.
So here's my thing about this. And guys, if you have an opinion on this one, please hit us up on Twitter, on Instagram as well. BIWTB podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Or you can find us at Book It With The Boys podcast on Facebook. Please send us a message or tweet us your thoughts on Cody's opponent for Double or Nothing.
Big question.
Big question here. That's our big question of the week. So he watched Jericho's promo in the Double or Nothing episode the other week. So how is that a future storyline, or is he somehow going to tie into the whole? Because he's obviously got the Kenny Cody feud from last year was one of the best, if not best, storylines I've seen for a long time. True. It just was. It was unbelievable. It was. Yep. I was so invested that I didn't know what was real and what wasn't real.
No payoff, is it either?
Well, that's the thing. They had the payoff at the Ring of Honor show. That's fine. They had the payoff at the Ring of Honor. They had the payoff at the Ring of Honor show. But here's the thing: there wasn't any more follow up to it, and obviously that's because AEW was going on in the background. Yeah. Does he jump in? What do you think? Is it a triple threat? No. I'm probably just wishful thinking here. I'm a bit of a fantasy booker, and that's why it's called Book It With The Boys. But I'm thinking
it has to be someone big.
It's not going to be Sean Spears. It can't be Ty Dillinger because he comes after Sean Spears. Hit him up in Pro Wrestling Tees.
I like it.
Perfect 10.
Yeah.
It's not going to be him. You mentioned one name to me the other day, Jack Swagger. You did bring that up with me. Could it be Jack Hager? His return to the ring. I know he's fighting at the moment.
Is that big enough?
I don't think it is. I think it has to be huge. Goldie, do we know anything about Goldie at the moment? Goldie can't be going. Can't be. No chance.
Nah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think it's him. We saw a picture of Cody.
We did.
And it was blurred out. So I don't know. It's a singles match. It has to be a singles match. It has to be big.
All right, I'm going to put it out on the table here. And I know we just said that we're pretty sure his contract's after it. But could it be Cody? Not Cody, sorry. Marty. He is Cody. Could it be Marty?
Could be Marty.
I was thinking if, hypothetically, let's say Ring of Honor somehow lets him off a little bit early, or they do a deal with Ring of Honor, let him share talent. Maybe Kenny wrestles once for them in the future. Marty's a big match.
Good call.
Marty is a huge, huge match, I think, because, you've seen their skits in Being the Elite.
Yeah, you know what? He's shooting down Marty at the moment.
He is, exactly right. My friends are dead. He's dead. Marty's gone. Where's he gone? He's disappeared.
He's dead.
He's as dead as Joey Ryan and Adam Cole. I don't know, mate. Well, I don't know. What do we think?
That's a
right,
shout.
I'm putting it on the table right now. I'm going to go with Marty. That's my answer to the big question of the week. I want an answer from you too, mate. If you need some time, I'll give you a couple of 10 tens if you need some time.
Well, that's not my answer.
Listen, I know that it's probably not going to be Marty, but I'm shooting on a limb here. I'm shooting here. We're talking shop. This is what it's for.
Could be Marty. I'm going to say it's Punk.
Wow.
Wishful thinking.
Guys, but, there's your scoop right there. There it is. The saviour. Don't start with your music, mate. Leave that for my editing skills, all right? All right, so you've heard it here first. Jason Cook on the first episode of Book It With The Boys. Big scoop. Cody versus CM Punk. Double or Nothing. Listen, can you think of anything better?
I can't.
There's nothing.
Can you imagine that?
There's nothing better. He couldn't be anything better. He would, I'll tell you what, if Jericho's got the biggest deal of his career and he's getting a 3-year deal, $6 million? Let's say. I haven't heard. Over 3 years. I haven't heard. Probably. I don't know. Let's say $6 million, right? That. Punk's getting, and again, Khan's got, Daddy's got billions. Right? We know this. Daddy's got billions, all right? Tony is going to spend a lot of money on this promotion. And let's just say Punk wrestles one match. He's getting 100. I reckon straight up for one match. 100,000.
What do you get for the USA fight?
500? 50, I think.
50?
Nah, I think maybe his contract I think his contract's $500,000 for the total amount of fights. We'll have to check that. We'll look into that. We'll look into that now. JC, look into that. I just think that I think it's inevitable. He's gonna come back and wrestle. He is gonna come back and think about this. They've got an appearance soon, sitting in the same booth.
I saw.
Marty,
Yep.
CM Punk,
Yep.
C2E2, Kenny, the Bucks, all sitting around together. You can't tell me that they're not sitting there. The executive vice presidents, all three of them, even though there's fucking four of them. How many do you need, people? Come on.
Bit of a cryptic tweet by the Bucks. Just see with.
I didn't. Fill me in.
You didn't see it?
No, I didn't.
There was that poster with Marty and Punk.
Oh, yes.
Dream match.
Oh, that's right. I did.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
See, this is what we're talking about, people. This is what we're doing. We're uncovering, us fans. We're uncovering what's going to happen here. So, what's Punk's contract worth? Let's try and get an estimation of what he's going to get paid for this one match. Now, it may not happen, and I mean, I've never heard a man say he's never going to do something more in my life than this. But I mean, hypothetically, if he was going to do it, what's he getting paid for his? What's his use?
Hypothetically,
yeah.
If he sells, let's say, a year contract.
So you reckon he's going to sign for a year? I reckon he's more likely
like
to
a match
do
or match.
a match or match thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd probably have to be upwards of $250,000. What do you reckon?
Yeah, probably. To be honest, I mean, he does it. I mean, you have to think about it, right? They're going to take a loss on this show no matter what. With the amount of money that they've put in, we all know that to make money, you've got to spend money. Yeah. You know, we all know that. Controversy creates cash. Eric Bischoff. To make money, you got to spend money. And I mean,
That worked out well, didn't it?
Yeah, 250 grand. Yeah, maybe we'll have to edit that bit out. 250 grand for a one-off match. I think it's worth it because the amount of interest that it'll create. He will get mainstream media attention. We already know that AEW is out there.
Punk.
Everyone knows about it. Vince will have a genuine heart attack sitting in Stanford. He'll lose his mind if Punk rocks up. Because I tell you what, right now, Jericho, massive name, but seriously, 50 years old. You know, it was huge when he came back to New Japan. I don't think he's the draw he thinks he is. He's massive. Everyone will watch it. Any Jericho fan will watch that, okay?
Yeah.
But Sam Punk rocks up. Tony Khan walks in and goes, "We are fucking here and we are here to stay." That is his statement there. All right, everyone. You've heard it here first. You want to book it? We're going to book it?
I was going to book it. I just want to bring up firstly before we do.
I want to pull the trigger.
I know you want to pull the trigger, but I've just searched 5 potential opponents for Cody at Double or Nothing.
All right, let's run through them quickly.
5-1.
Yep.
What's number 5? What do you reckon?
Goldie.
Dean
Dean Ambrose. Oh, there's the one we haven't even talked about.
Dean
Ambrose. All right, quickly on Dean Ambrose. So, as reported on Wrestling Observer Live 2 days ago, Brian mentioned that he believes that the rumor is going around at the moment that Ambrose is staying. No. Now, Meltzer's come out and disputed that the next day. So, I mean, that didn't really work out that well. I thought they'd be talking to each other. But, I mean, Ambrose, yeah, massive chance. I'd love to see it. Wouldn't you? Moxley?
For sure.
Rhodes versus Moxley?
Be
huge.
That's huge.
Right. What's number 4?
Number 4.
Now, this is number 5. That's a 5th. Okay, number 4.
That should be number 1.
Should be.
That's
definitely
huge. If that is what happens, massive. I don't know about contracts, so I don't think that'll allow him to do that. But anyway, number 4, Sammy Guevara.
Ooh, okay.
So we saw Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, we did see him
at the press conference.
Yep.
Bit awkward.
It was, yeah.
He was a little bit awkward.
Yeah, he is. I haven't seen much. Have you seen him wrestle?
I haven't seen much of him. I watched his YouTube show last week.
Yep.
Yeah, not sure about him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Not sure.
I mean, here's the best part. But this is the best part about AEW is this talent from AAA. What's the Chinese promotion?
I can't.
OWE.
OWE.
Right. This is talent that we are going to be exposed to on a national wide spread level that we haven't seen before.
That's the thing.
And you know what? A lot of you listening probably are going to be like, "Oh, who are these two peanuts?" They haven't seen Sammy Guevara wrestle before.
Have you heard of those girls?
Nah.
Kylie Ray. I've never heard of
I've heard of Kylie Ray. I haven't seen much of her, but Nyla Rose. I mean, Dave Meltzer hasn't even heard about her, and that man, like. He knows his shit. I think he knows his shit.
I think so.
That's it. So listen, we're gonna see. All right, number 3. What's number 3?
You want to hear number 3?
I want to hear number 3. Goldie's got to be coming soon. Marty, tell me Marty's in this list. He's not. I'm gonna sound like an idiot after this episode because he's not. His contract's not coming. So anyway, number 3.
Jimmy Havoc.
Oh,
Jimmy Havoc's been a
this
bit
is
of
interesting. This is a really interesting one for me.
He's been a bit of a mainstay down here in the Aussie scene.
Yeah, he has. He has.
He's,
So, for a lot of you that obviously wouldn't follow Australian wrestling because you're based in America and there's enough to watch anyway, Jimmy Havoc, mainstay of MCW, one of our favourite promotions, our home promotion, Melbourne City Wrestling. Absolutely. If you get a chance, hit him up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Buddy Murphy, one of the best MCW heavyweight champions of all time, as Matt Silver about 3 or 4 years ago. Who else came from MCW? Peyton Royce, I believe, was in MCW. Jonah Rock, yep, just recently signed. Elliot Sexton signed as well. So, yeah, MCW, great promotion. We're hoping to get to a couple of their shows this year as well. Maybe have a chat to them, get them on the podcast. But, yeah, if you aren't familiar with MCW, please hit them up, Melbourne City Wrestling, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So, Jimmy Havoc, mainstay down here. The fans in Melbourne love him. We love him. He's hardcore. He's different. And he's an interesting opponent for Cody. What do you reckon, mate?
Look, yeah, it would be. I mean, I still don't think that's a big...
It's not a big enough
big
draw,
name, and I don't think it'll happen because I've already announced him. So I don't think he's the guy, but we don't know. He's gonna be good for the company.
Definitely,
he's different, and
I think he's one that he's been there for a long time. He's been in the scene for a long time, but he's one that is going to get this chance, and I think he's going to take it with 2 hands.
Yep, for sure.
All right, run us through number 2.
Number 2,
Goldie. It's got to be Goldie.
It's your guy.
Marty.
No
way.
Party.
Really?
Marty.
Here we go. I booked it.
Two.
I booked it. Party Marty, number 2. Maybe he comes out as Party Marty.
Maybe.
You never know. All right. So we've already talked about Marty. So let's just get to number 1. And if we get to... It's got to be Goldie or Punk. Has to be Goldie or Punk. This is not a good time for your internet not to work, mate. Here we go. Number 1. The number 1 likely opponent for Cody Rhodes at Double or Nothing, according to a very credible source, I'm assuming that you found, Jace. Let's not mention it, but they can't see us, mate, so let's just say that it's credible.
Yeah, that's
number 1. Well, who is it?
MJF.
Oh.
And you know what? I can see that.
I can too.
I can definitely see that.
So here's the thing.
That's not a bad call.
I get it, and it makes a lot of sense. But I don't think it makes sense now. I don't think that Double or Nothing is the right place for this. This is a 6-month build that they can build to. Think about this. Like, you saw the Double or Nothing episode. Why would he say, oh, is it that guy again? He's called me. Like, if that's going to be his opponent, surely that doesn't work into the storyline. But imagine this. We spend 6 months of good shows, Double or Nothing, Fight for the Fallen, every other show they announce. MJF goes behind Cody's back, does something with Brandy. I don't know. Maybe he feeds Farrow chocolate or something. I don't fucking know. He'll do something, and we build it up and build it up and build it up. This is the one thing that they need to do right, is build these storylines. But I can definitely see it. And number 1, you've heard it here first, number 1 likely opponent, MJF. Come on, give me your thoughts. What do you honestly think? Are you going to book CM Punk right now? Are you going to book it, or do you want to change your mind after what you've just heard? I think we forgot about Ambrose.
I did forget about Ambrose. That'd be huge. I don't think that'll happen either. Not this
Surely
early.
Not. I mean, I think that his contract, because he's not renewing it, I think the can't complete clause is inactive.
Really?
I think so, yeah. So because he's not asking for a release, and technically his contract's just running out. I mean, I think
up until Mania.
Well, I mean, his contract runs out straight after Mania,
Yeah,
so he could wrestle straight away pretty much if he wanted to. Yeah. I have a sneaky suspicion he might stay. That's just me going out on a whim.
It's weird that they've announced it. I don't get that.
It's weird they've announced it. It's weird that on Raw that Michael Cole talked about it, and it's even weirder that Renee mentioned that he's going to greener pastures. Like, it's so weird.
That was strange.
He's not going to AEW if she's talking about it like that. It just doesn't make sense.
That was super strange. I did catch that, and then Graves kind of arced up on that too. So that was weird.
I don't think Corey Graves should be arcing up to any females at the moment after his last track record, but that's a discussion offline, I think.
That's another day.
All right, so let's end it now. I'm booking Marty Skrull to wrestle Cody at Double or Nothing. Who are you booking, mate?
Sticking with Punk.
Sticking with Punk. You've heard it here first. Jason Cook is booking CM Punk for the Double or Nothing podcast. Sorry, that's what we're doing, podcast. Double or Nothing show in May. We'll wait and see what happens, mate. So, no, that's a good wrap-up of AEW. Is there anything else you want to discuss before we move on?
No, that's it, mate. I'm just excited. I can't wait for May. I can't wait to see what's going to happen.
It's you know what? I'll just say one thing.
Time.
It is an exciting time. I'm just going to say one thing. And if you've got your opinions on this, hit us up. And it might just be because we want something different. But the fact that we've just spent the majority of this talking shop about AEW and Double or Nothing when Mania is literally a month away is showing you that times are changing.
Times are changing.
Times are changing.
And I'm loving it.
All righty, let's move on. We'll see you after the break. All right, Jace, moving on from talking shop, I think it's time to delve into what us wrestling fans generally, well, it's all we really focus on half the time these days, and that's the rumour mill. So the rumour file, or as we like to call it, the rumour mill. So what we're going to do here is, everybody, is we're going to each pick our favourite rumour or thing that's been discussed in the wrestling world for the time period that the podcast is released, and we're going to delve into a little bit. We don't want to talk about everything. We all know you read the reports and read the dirt sheets and listen to all the podcasts and radio shows. So let's pick one each, and we're just going to delve into it and talk a bit of shit about it. So, Jace, do you want to go first, or do you mind if I kick things off?
Mate, you kick things off. I think you got a good one. So.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean, it's a pretty obvious one, but the biggest rumour I think going around at the moment is, and when I say rumour, we all know what's happened, but is the Arn Anderson firing. Now, I've heard, and I think you've heard, and I think everyone listening to this fucking podcast has heard, is that Arn has been fired because he let Alicia Fox wrestle whilst intoxicated at a house show.
For me, that's insane.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
I can't fathom that. Like, well, how does that
happen?
So
we know this is a rumour, and I know that a lot of the stuff that gets reported in the dirt sheets, and especially anything that's written in the Observer or reported by the Torch or anything, it's generally all pretty true. And again, I don't know where this originally came from, but this can't be real, can it?
I don't know. Look, I heard the story. I can't see that being true, but it's everywhere.
It is.
It's absolutely everywhere.
It's crazy. And as a fan, it's fucking hilarious, isn't it? It's like, this is 2019. This is a young woman. And you know what? She's been around the business. She's the biggest veteran in WWE as a women's wrestler at the moment.
Been there for ages.
Like,
long time.
No matter how successful or unsuccessful she's been, and whatever your thoughts are, first of all, she's actually good at selling, and she's an okay wrestler. But this isn't Lacey Evans walking into the joint and going, oh, I'm not really sure of the ropes. This is Alicia Fox. I don't know if she thinks she can get away with it. I mean, what are your thoughts, mate?
Well,
what's going on? It's cost Arn Anderson his job.
He's been there since 2001, since WCW closed down.
Yeah.
18
one of the
years.
horsemen.
One of the that's
18 years.
That's no everyday firing. That's that.
No, it's big. And
that's big. Huge.
Foxy's just made him get the flick. And I mean, I guess we probably need to focus on, while it's bad on her, it's bad on Arn, isn't it? Mate, come on.
If it's true.
If it's true. And if it's not true, then it's a bit of a piss take. He's a bit #stiff if it's not true to be getting fired for this. You know what I mean? But, I mean, I just don't understand how it can get to a situation where this happens.
Yeah. Well, you know what? She hasn't denied it either. I saw she posted something on her Instagram about resilience, or she posted resilience in the quote for it. So,
resilience? What? Resilient? Oh, mate, I can't even speak about this. This is ridiculous. I mean,
doesn't make sense.
You don't have a few frothies walk to the ring and then wrestle in front of 5,000 people, especially when you're the Fox. Come on, let's be serious
Foxy.
here. I mean, I feel a bit sorry for Arn Anderson. He's been there, like you said, 18 years. I mean, surely it's AEW now. Has to be, doesn't it?
For Arn?
Arn, surely.
He could be someone like a commissioner or an enforcer or something. And
so you reckon they'll hire him on screen? So this is something that hasn't really been talked about. Everything that I've seen or heard or thought about is all as a backstage producer.
Really?
But that's a really good point that you bring up. Maybe the first ever general manager of AEW.
General manager, old school commissioner, enforcer, Arn Anderson.
Imagine that. Cody in the main event.
Yep.
Whoever he's wrestling, whether it be Punk, whether it be Marty, whoever it may be. Punk. All of a sudden, interference, bang, Arn Anderson comes out of nowhere and lays the smack it down with one of those big-ass spine busters. Couldn't happen, could it?
I reckon big chance for me after that. So, I don't know. We'll wait and see on that, but that blew my mind hearing that story.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Blew my mind.
It's just it's not on. But anyway, moving on, mate. What's your rumour of the month or rumour of the week, or what have you got here?
I wanted to bring up, I've heard a couple of names so far. We've obviously had a few names announced already, but the Hall of Fame.
WWE Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. They took a little while to get the first one out. They got DX. China's in.
Were you surprised about that?
One night in China we were in.
Oh, one night. Both of them. One night in China. Do not go back and watch that.
Don't
unless
Google
you're
it.
overage, of course. Please don't tweet us about that either.
DX. Tori was announced.
Oh, what do you think about Tori?
Not sure what she did, but she's in.
She's done something.
she looked hot.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
No comment on that one, mate. She's done something to make Vince happy. She's in. I mean, never won a title. So
yeah, she didn't either.
That's a bit of a
didn't win a title.
Bit of a hashtag piss take, but anyway. Who else is in? Oh, of course, Honky Tonk Man, greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time.
Well deserved.
Well deserved, yeah. Great gimmick. I mean, say what you say about his wrestling ability, but he's a mainstay. Our parents would remember the great man. But so, what's the rumor you've heard, mate, or what are you thinking here?
Well, we've heard a name, which Brutus, the barber.
The Brutus, the fucking barber beefcake.
Mr. Ed Leslie. So,
Leslie
Mr.
himself.
Horace Hogan, if you will.
I was going to say, so if Brutus gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, and here's the thing, there's a couple of things I want to say. Is it technically like when he gets his ring, does he just ship it off to Hulk? Does Hulk just get his ring? Because fair dinkum, if it wasn't for Hulk, that man would never, ever, ever even be thought about in a WWE ring.
I don't think he would. I heard a story today from Meltzer. I was listening on the way to work.
Yep. On your busy life, mate. Yep.
On your busy life. He was originally built from San Francisco. Now, the reason... Did you hear this story?
Oh, I might have heard this story, mate, but I'm not going to steal your thunder. I'm not going to steal your blue thunder bomb.
The reason for was that he was a stripper, and he was... Was that the
I think
reason?
so,
He
yeah.
was a stripper or
and
something.
just for all you listeners out there, we are only 23, 24 years of age. So Brutus the Barber wasn't one that we grew up with.
No, not at all.
Anyway, back to your stripper story, mate.
Stripper story. Built from San Francisco because there was a big gay community in the Bay Area.
Yeah. And we should point out as well, whilst we are obviously not that age growing up then, but back in the day, obviously it wasn't exactly a well taken thing back then, and thank God it's changed. I mean, look at how good it is now, and it's so accepted as it should be. But back then, as wrestling was, unfortunately, they were hashtag piss take a little bit.
Interesting
times. But yeah, continue.
But anyway, so I can't remember what the story was. But anyway,
I think just to follow up, I think what happened was he was billed from San Francisco as a male stripper. The idea was to get him booed, which is ridiculous anyway. But
that's right.
Every time he'd go to San Francisco, I think he'd get cheered, wouldn't he?
Cheer him.
So yeah,
he's from the hometown, which it didn't work out at all. But
so we've got our first gay male stripper going into the Hall of Fame, Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Yep. Unless Rico's a chance this year, maybe.
Wow. That's a story for. I think that is definitely our next episode. I'm going to break the scoop right now. Our next episode, where are they now? Rico will be our choice. So listen up to that
Constantino. Let's do it.
So Brutus the Barber. Now, here's one for you. So we all know Brutus is going in for whatever reason. Who else do you think could go in? There has to be a couple more.
Well, I was surprised when I heard King Kong Bundy wasn't in. I know he's just unfortunately...
Is he not in at all?
Passed away. No, he's not. Which is
very
pretty surprising.
Sad. Our condolences to King Kong Bundy's family, of course.
So that was something that I was a bit shocked by. But, I mean, I don't know. There's so many people in and so many obscure... people, but obviously, so there has to be. So we're still waiting on a celebrity.
Yep. And just this is something I was thinking about on my drive in on the way to work today. So I know there's a celebrity wing, and people are getting upset that Tori's not in. Tori has gone in, but Snoop Lion has a fucking Hall of Fame ring. Snoop Lion.
And the Donald too.
And the Donald. They have fucking Hall of Fame rings. If the Snoop Lion and the President of America can have a fucking Hall of Fame ring, we can give one to Tori and her pretty little finger, can't we?
I'm sure we could.
Oh, dear Lord. Anyway, so what do you reckon? What are you thinking?
Well,
we're going to have to get another scoop here. We've got Punk in the main event against... Well, sorry, not main event, but in a match against Cody.
It should be the main event.
Should be the main event, of course. Anyway, so what's our scoop here? What are we going to break?
Well, you know what? I'm struggling for names. I actually have nothing.
This is some really good content.
This is really good content. Could it be The Rock?
Well, that's the one I was thinking.
Could it be The Rock?
That's what I was thinking. And I didn't want to jump in because I thought you were about to break a scoop. But I'm thinking The Rock might be the one. I think he could be next. He has to be next, doesn't he? I can't believe he's not in.
Yeah.
He has to go in.
He's still kind of semi-active, so...
I know, but he has to go in. Has to go in.
Yeah. Of course he has to go in.
Maybe Taker, yeah. Well, there's one.
Taker?
Maybe it is Taker if
Kane?
he's done and done. Yeah, Kane. Could be Kane. I mean, there's a
Where are we
whole
at this
list
year?
of
We're
names.
in New York, aren't we?
New York, yep.
We're in New York.
I think Taker's probably the one for me. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I think Taker goes in. I mean, if he doesn't go in this year, it's definitely next year.
Because who's headline? So we've got... I don't think DX could headline. Do you think...
I think they will.
They probably will.
They will. I don't know
if Taker's a headliner.
If Taker goes in, he headlines.
But they do normally give the first...
Here's the thing, but after Brutus, we haven't really heard anything, have we? So, I mean, this is all just speculation. This is why it's called the rumour mill. Because we're just talking shop about what we think is going to happen. So,
Vader's not in either. That's another one.
Really?
No.
Well, he's unfortunately recently gone as well. So maybe Vader goes in as well. All right. Well, let's leave it at that. We're going to go with either Taker, Vader, and unfortunately, I think Taker's a big chance. I think so too. All right. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Taker, Vader, or definitely Brutus the fucking barber beefcake. Anyway, we'll be back for more after this. All right, Jace, before we wrap up the first ever edition of Book It With The Boys, I just thought we'd like to go into one last little thing. We'll give the viewers one of the teasers that we've been talking about. So we are going to focus a bit more on this in future episodes, aren't we? But we've thought it'd be a good idea to go back in time and see what was going on at this exact time period, 10, 15, 20 years ago. And thanks to our good friend Dave Meltzer, who we know quite well, don't we? Quite personally well.
Big old Uncle Dave.
Dave, we pay our money. We pay for this, right? I've gone back in time and roughly 18 years ago. So basically tomorrow, after this obviously podcast comes out, March 12th, 2001, 18 years ago. And this is a really, really good, transpiring of where we are right now and where we were 18 years ago. So the main thing that they were talking about in the edition is that the bankruptcy of ECW. So essentially this was the time period where ECW was essentially getting shut down. But not only that, WCW was about to be sold. So, I mean, listeners back at home might be thinking, well, how is this relevant? Well, think about this. 18 years ago, the second and third biggest wrestling companies in the world were going under. Vince was taking over. All was coming to a halt. Now, where are we 18 years later, Jace?
Where are we? Well, we've just spoken about it today. AEW is kicking off. We've got Ring of Honor running MSG. We've got New Japan selling out the Tokyo Dome. It's
constantly, year by year. They always do it, but it's crazy.
It's crazy to think about. I mean, I'm looking at the results from the last WCW down at Panama City Beach, Florida. So, they still had, Booker T in the main, obviously winning the title, both titles.
Who did he wrestle in that main? Does it say?
Scott
Steiner.
Remember.
Scott Steiner, that's right. So, while we're on Booker T, here's an interesting one for you today. I saw today, actually. So, did you know that the last segment that Nitro ever beat Raw in was Lance Storm issuing a challenge to Booker T for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship? It's the last segment that they ever beat Raw in history. Yep,
when
back
was that?
in 2000, I believe.
2000?
Late 2000, yep. So they beat him in one segment, but that was it. It might have even been earlier than that. I could be wrong, but yeah, it's a bit crazy, isn't it?
That's insane.
But yeah, so 18 years later, the internet, I think we've both seen. How much wrestling can we watch now? It's crazy.
Like, unlimited. Like, it's nuts. It's crazy. It is crazy. But no, reading that they've still had what? They still have Mysterio, Kidman,
some big
Guerrero.
names.
They still had some pretty big names at the time.
Was it Guerrero? Was he over in WWE by then, or
Eddie?
Yeah, or was he still?
Eddie was,
yeah.
Chavo.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Apologies. No, my bad. Mysterio, good old Chavo.
Bam Bam Bigelow, and Sean Stasiak. Jesus.
What about
Flair.
Vince Russo? David Arquette, couple there? No, I shouldn't be spraying David. He's back in the scene now. And this is another thing to talk about. 18 years ago, the man was winning the World Heavyweight Championship, and then he's had a death match 6 months ago. He nearly died being stabbed in the throat with a light tube.
Mate, that's just ridiculous.
There you
Seriously, that is insane. But anyway, it's crazy to think. 18 years ago to where we are now. It's a different time. It's an exciting time, but
I think it's a better time, don't you think?
Yeah.
Better and worse in some aspects, isn't it?
It's hard to say. We weren't there. We weren't watching. We were at the time of the peak, 97, 98.
Yeah. Well, what I should say is I shouldn't say it was a better time for wrestling now, because it is in some aspects, but it's not. But I think in terms of the way the world is now, with access to watching so much different wrestling, it's so much better, don't you think?
No, agreed. For sure. It's so easy to get, so easy to access. You can really essentially watch anything on your phone. Like, it's you've got access to everything.
Yeah, you could pick up your phone right now and watch a PWG show. I mean, it's the best, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think that 18 years ago you had all you could do was watch it on TV essentially. I mean, the internet was around and it was getting bigger, but you couldn't just go online and log into your 5G or go on your Wi-Fi and stream a Ring of Honor show, on Fight TV app or something. So it's just crazy to look back on. That's the March 12th edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter from 2001. So that's just a little thing we'd like to bring up now. And
just on that, actually, before we do move on.
Yes, please, hit me.
I watched something on the network last night. It was the Untold series.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that?
No, I don't think I have, actually, but I know what I'm watching tonight.
It's really, I think I don't know if it's the first or second episode, but it's on ECW's return.
Yep. Oh, yes. Yes, WWE, I saw the advert for this. I saw the advert for this. Was it good?
Good. 20 minutes.
Oh, really? 20 minutes?
That's all.
Heyman talking the whole time?
Heyman, Dreamer, Sandman.
Sandman's
in it.
Jesus. How's he looking these days?
Well, he's not. It's the voices. They're not. There's no one on camera.
I was going to say he would not be healthy.
Just a side note. It was original idea was Shane wanted to restart ECW, but he wanted to do it online.
Oh,
all online through .com. Like
wow.
It was only going to be on like a streaming service.
That's
this
huge.
is back in 2005.
That's massive.
Like pretty much what the network is today. He wanted that.
And then Vince stepped in and said, "Oh no, we're not doing that, Shane."
Well, he was gone. It was all
terrible.
It was all good to go, and then Sci-Fi came in and said we want to put it on, and then that was it.
We can't say no to TV rights money, so
no.
Wow, so there you go. That's really interesting. So what's that? The Untold series?
Untold series, yeah.
Right,
There's another one there. I didn't know you watch it, but yeah, that
little plug for the WWE Network there, $9.99 a month. Actually, it's a little bit more in AUD to be honest. So it's not. It's like $14.27 or something a month. So, but there you go. So Well, listen, mate. It's been great today. I think. Looking forward to next week. As we mentioned on the show earlier, you might have heard. We will be doing things a little bit differently. So I think we're going to focus. We might do a little segment on Rico next week, which we teased the audience about. A bit of a laugh. But I think the main kettle of fish for next week's show or the next podcast we release will be a review of a WrestleMania. Is that correct?
I think so. I mean, we are on the road to WrestleMania.
We are. We should focus on it.
We've got 4 weeks.
Yeah, not long now.
Jeez, it's a month.
Ridiculous.
Jeez, we're close.
We're very close.
So I think we'll do a couple of reviews in between, but I think next week will definitely be a review of WrestleMania. Do we want to pick the WrestleMania now?
I reckon let's just do it on the whim right now.
Do we want to do it now?
So what we'll do is you name one, I'll name one, and then we'll rock, paper, scissors for it. How about that? This could be revolutionary, people. Rock, paper, scissors on air on a podcast. You pick. I'm going to pick. You want me to pick one first? Straight up?
Yeah.
All right, I said 17 before, but I'm not going to go for 17. I've watched that so many times.
So have
I. I'm going to go for an underrated one, in my opinion. And again, we're recording this podcast as fans for the fans. So I'm going to go back to my favorite WrestleMania of all time as a child, WrestleMania 22. One of my favorites of all time. That's the one I'm going for. Yep. Cena in the main event versus Triple H. Unbelievable Chicago crowd. What a match that was.
Yep.
Taker, Mark Henry, I believe, in a casket match. Continuing the streak. Money in the Bank ladder match. Rob Van Dam wins it, I believe, as well.
Yep.
Mania 22.
That sets up.
One of my favourite matches of all time, and I will actually go back and see how many stars this got, because I'm a bit of a nerd for the stars, but Mick Foley versus Edge in a hardcore match. Spear through the ropes.
Yes.
You have to think about this, mate. WrestleMania 22, what are we up to now? 35? So that's 13 years ago. Yep. I'm 10 years old, and I've just watched a man spear another man through a table on fire. So I'm going for Mania 22. What are you going for here, mate?
It's tough.
It is.
To pick. I've actually just watched a few Manias.
Yep.
Recently.
Yep.
But one of my favourite matches growing up, it's because I'm a big Randy Orton fan.
Oh,
I was a massive Orton fan when I was younger.
Randall Keith, he's unbelievable.
Randall Keith.
We should do an episode on him one day as well.
We should. We
one of
definitely
the greatest.
I think I'm gonna go with Orton.
Yep.
V Taker Mania 21.
Yeah. So we're in the same time period.
WrestleMania goes Hollywood.
All right, I like it. Okay, we're gonna do this rock paper scissors.
Let's do it.
Let's go. All right, I'll count us down. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Oh, we got scissors at the same time. There we go. All right, let's go again. Draw. 3, 2, 1. Bang, I've lost. WrestleMania 21 it is. Rock beats Scissors, and I mean, if we go to 20, we could talk about the Rock and Mick Foley, but that's really
Rock
bad
and sock,
joke by me.
doing
Rock
that,
and
no.
sock. All right, next week's show, we're going to go with a review. We will have a quick chat about a review about everything that we've seen in the week of wrestling, but next week's show, you've heard it here first, WrestleMania 21, we will be reviewing. We'll also do a little bit on Rico. I'm sorry, mate, we're going to have to do 5 or 10 on Rico. I can't help it. We have to do it. It'll be a good...
Billion
be a good
Shark.
lol.
I'm ready to go back.
Now, listen, before we plug our socials, Jace, is there anything else you wanted to cap off for? I think it's been a pretty good episode for
I
Straight
reckon
Up.
we've done well.
I think we
First
have.
one off the. What am I trying to say? Cab off the rank.
First cab off
Cab
the
off
rank.
the rank, that's the one.
Another Aussie saying as well for you American listeners. Listen, we'd love it if you could go on, subscribe to the podcast. That'd be great. It'll be on all podcast apps, Spotify, obviously the podcast app, Podcast One, anywhere that you get podcasts, we'll try and get it on there. If it's not on any of the ones I said, I do apologise. Subscribe, give us a 5-star rating. There's no cult merch for us at this stage, unfortunately, but you never know.
Wrestling tees. If you're listening, we're ready to go.
We're ready to go.
We've got some
Sign
designs.
us up. Yep, that's it. Now, lastly, obviously social media is a big one. Give us a follow on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. That's Booger with the Boys Podcast on Facebook, BIWTB Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow our personal accounts at DEEFern. That's DEEFern for me personally. Jace, I think it's real Jason Cook, isn't it?
No, that's the Instagram actually.
Instagram, sorry.
Happily follow me on Instagram if you do. Twitter at JaceCook9. That's JASCOOKE9.
Even if we just get a couple of followers, it'd be good. But anyway, Jace, thanks for your time, mate. It's been good. Look
been
forward
great.
to booking it next week, mate.
Looking forward to it, mate. It's
Take care.
it's gonna be an exciting week, exciting time. WrestleMania season.
Bring it on, eh?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Thanks everyone for listening. Like I said, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and we'll be back next week for WrestleMania 21. Book it.